Welcome to the 7th video of the first module of Data Structures and Applications. In the previous video, you saw what a sparse polynomial is. You saw two varieties of structure declaration for a polynomial and the best suitable structure declaration for a sparse polynomial. In this video, we'll write the code for the sparse polynomial addition. So the first thing that you're going to see in this video is how to write the function of sparse polynomial addition. In the previous video, you saw that a sparse polynomial is a polynomial whose degree is very high, whereas the number of terms in that polynomial is very less. So such a polynomial becomes a sparse polynomial for us. Now, the degree of that polynomial is the exponent of the largest exponent becomes the degree of that polynomial. Now I have two polynomials here, a of x and b of x. A of x degree is 1000 because the largest exponent is 1000. Now we expect the number of terms to be 1000 plus 1, whereas the number of terms here are only 5. So definitely it's a sparse polynomial. And similarly, we have one more polynomial b of x whose degree is 600. The largest exponent is 600. Now we are expecting 600 plus 1 term, whereas the number of terms in this polynomial is only 2. So definitely a of x and b of x are sparse polynomials. What we are now intending to do is, we are trying to compute the sum of these two sparse polynomials, right? In the previous video, you saw that we have defined a structure called as polynomial and we have declared a one-dimensional array called as terms. So terms is a one-dimensional array and the data type of terms is polynomial. And you know that polynomial is a structure and polynomial is user-defined, right? So what we have actually done is, we have type defined a structure called as polynomial. We have type defined a structure called as polynomial and there are two parts of it. There is a exponent part which is of the type int. There is also a coefficient part which is of the type float. Now terms is an array of the data type polynomial. Every entry has two parts. It has a coefficient part and also an exponent part. Now we know how to populate this 1D array. We can store not one polynomial, not two polynomial, but n number of polynomials so long as the size of this 1D array fits in. We can have some constant called as max and max could be 1000 or anything. So long as the terms are available, the locations in this 1D are available to us, we can go on filling n number of polynomials. So what we have done here is, we have filled in the polynomial a in this 1D array. We have also filled in the polynomial b in this 1D array. The first term of the polynomial is 2x power 1000. So 2 is the coefficient and 1000 is the exponent. We have filled in that. And then 5x power 600, 9x power 2, 2x power 1 and 1x power 0. And we have indexes here. One is start A. So start A is actually 0. That's the index of this terms array. That's one of the index of this terms array. That tells us the starting position in the array for the polynomial a. And similarly, finish a is 4, which is the index value that indicates us where is this polynomial a ending. Now coming to polynomial b, we have only 9x power 600 and 21x power 500. So similarly, we have start b and finish b whose values are 5 and 6 respectively. Now there is a special index term which is called as avail. Avail in this case is 7, right? So 7 indicates to us that that's the next available position in this 1D array. Now how do we really do the sum of it? Let's start writing the code as to how to compute the sum of these two polynomials. So let's start writing the code for it. Let's call the function as padd. So padd is the function name. I'll say the return type of this function is void. The return type of this function is void. Let's see what all parameters it takes. The first parameter I would give for this function is start A, which is the index of the terms array. The next parameter is start B. And the next parameter is finish A, and similarly the next parameter is finish B. The last two parameters are pointer variables. So int star start A or start D, that's the D polynomial we are trying to find, and int star finish D. This is the very reason why this return type of this function is void, because we are doing pass by reference. Ultimately, the result from this particular PAD is the D polynomial should go into the terms array. The idea here is that terms is global. Terms is globally declared. It is available to all the functions in our code. So I need not pass it as parameter. And also the assumption here is int avail is also global to us. So PAD can access avail, which is global. Now going ahead, what we really do is we start populating this terms array with the resultant polynomial in this function. And the calling function would ultimately know where is start D and finish D because it's passed by reference. The value that's updated gets reflected in the activation record of the calling function. So start D and finish D are pointers and it is passed by reference for us. So that's why the return type is void. Now going ahead, let's declare a local variable. I'm going to call it as result coefficient. Whenever I have to compute the addition of two coefficients, when the exponents are equal, I have this variable called as result coefficient. And since the variable or the data member coefficient is of floating point, and when you add two coefficients, definitely the data type is going to be float. The first thing that we know right away is where is the position of start D. I'm not going to do start D equal to, I'm going to do start D equal to, because the answer should get reflected in the calling function. So start D is equal to avail, right? So that's the first thing we can directly initialize, that the avail position is equal to start D, right? So there's no confusion for us in that. Next, I'll go for a while condition. So long as start A is less than or equal to finish A and start B is less than or equal to finish B. Meaning, so long as there are terms in polynomial A and there are terms in polynomial B, we have to continue our task. So how do I write that? So long as there are terms in the polynomial A. So start A, so long as start A is less than or equal to start or less than or equal to finish A. That's our first condition, but that's not it. That's the one part of our condition. And we have an AND operator here, and so long as start B is less than or equal to finish B. This simply means so long as there are terms either in polynomial A or in polynomial B, we continue the task. Now what I have inside this while condition is only one switch case. So I say switch, so which is why I have not given a bracket here. I have only one statement here, which is a switch case. And within the switch condition, what I'll do is I'll call compare. Now we need the assistance of compare. Compare could be a function, compare could be a macro. It could either be a macro or a function, but compare should return me 0, 1 and -1. Compare should compare two values. If the two values are equal, it should return me 0. So I should define that macro or the function compare in such a way that when two values are equal, it should return me 0. When the first value is greater than the second value, it should return me 1. When the first value is lesser than the second value, it should return me -1. Now, so compare takes two parameters. I'm actually trying to compare 1000 with 600. Why am I trying to compare 1000 with 600? The first term exponent in polynomial A is 1000 and the first term in polynomial B is 600. I got to compare that. So my compare here is, I'm actually trying to compare from the terms array only, but the index position here is start A, Terms of start A has two parts, coefficient and exponent. I'm not trying to compare the coefficient, I'm trying to compare the exponent. So dot exponent. So that's my first parameter. So this gives me 1000 over here. Now I have to compare this 1000 with 600. So that means the second parameter is terms of start B. So terms of start B, but again I'm not comparing the coefficient, I'm comparing the exponent, dot exponent. Now this switch case definitely has an opening parenthesis. I know that there are three cases to be dealt with. It is case 0, case 1 or case minus 1. In our case here, when I compare 1000 with 600, 1000 is not equal to 600. So it's definitely not a case 0, but 1000 is greater than 600. So which is why let's first define case 1. Case 1. So case 1 is a case where the exponent 1 is greater than the exponent 2. Now in this case, it simply means 2x power 1000 does not have a matching term in the polynomial b, and which means 2x power 1000 should be attached as it is in the resulting polynomial. That's what it simply means. So what I'll do here is, I'll call a function called as attach. So which again we have to define, which definitely we have to define in such a way that attach takes two parameters. It takes the coefficient which has to be attached, it takes the exponent which has to be attached. What is the coefficient that has to be attached? The coefficient is present in the terms array and the index is start A and the first parameter is coefficient. So that's why it is dot coefficient. The second term, the second parameter is terms, the same array, and the index is also start A. I'm talking of the same term, but now I want the exponent. So definitely this is a function call. So we have to define the attach. So for PR to be complete, we need the support of this compare function or compare macro. We also need the support of attach, which is going to pick up these values 2 and 1000 and it's going to attach. Now what will attach actually do is, attach has an access to avail because it's also a function belonging to the same code, and avail is global. Whatever the value of avail is, it's available to all the function. So attach will take care of putting 2 and 1000 into the terms array, and what it also do is, it will increment avail. So avail value is no more 7 but avail value is 8, and who did that? The function attach. So we are actually done with this particular term. When we are done with that particular term, we have to go ahead. How do I go ahead? Start A was the index which told me the position of the current term in the polynomial A. I will go ahead. How do I go ahead is, I'll say start A plus plus. So that's what I'll write here. I'll say start A. The value of start A was initially 0. Now it's going to be 1. That's it. Now give a break condition. Right? Now we know at the end of case 1, in our scenario, where is start A and where is avail. Next again, our condition keeps on repeating so long as start A is less than or equal to finish A, yes, and start B is also less than or equal to finish B. Now the comparison again, because we are calling the compare macro or the compare function, the comparison is between the two exponents, which is 600 and 600. When you compare 600 and 600, the case is not 1, the case is not minus 1, but the case is 0. So it is a case 0. So what does case 0 actually mean? The two exponents are equal. When the two exponents are equal, that is a matching term, and we can compute the sum of the coefficient. The sum of the coefficient should be stored in a variable called as result coefficient. So let's initialize result coefficient. So I say result coefficient is equal to, I have to add 5 and I have to add 9. So how do I tell that? It's the same array terms. Terms is the array and the index here for me is start A, and I am definitely adding the coefficient part. So dot coefficient. That's the first part of addition. What the second operator, second operand is terms, the same array terms of start B dot coefficient. So that would give me the result coefficient. So what do I do with the result coefficient? I've added 5 and I've added 9 and I've got the answer as 14. 14 should be attached here. right? So whenever I have to attach something, I'm calling the same function attach. I'm calling the same function attach, but the first parameter is result coefficient, and the second parameter is the exponent. The exponent are same. So if I say terms of start A dot exponent or terms of start B dot exponent, both are same, right? So both are same. So I can say terms of start A dot exponent, right? So in this case, both are equal. In this case, both the parameters are equal. So what we really have to do here is, we have to increment both start A and start B. We are done with both the terms. We are done with this term and we are done with this term. In both the cases, it has to be incremented, which simply means start A plus plus. So start A is going ahead, and similarly start B plus plus. Anything else to be done here? No, that's it. So that's a break condition for us over here. So we did the case 0. Now the comparison is between 2 and 500. Right? So again it would be the comparison between, we call the same compare macro, and the comparison is between 2 and 500, and definitely it's a case -1. So let's see what we do in case -1. So case -1 is where 2 is less than 500. So what we do here is, it simply means 500, 21 x bar 500 does not have a matching term, and it has to be attached as it is in the resulting polynomial. So which means I have to call the same attach function, and please observe the parameters. I have to attach 21 x bar 500 as it is. So attach the same array terms. So terms of start B dot coefficient. So that's the first parameter. That's the first parameter of attach. And the second parameter is terms of start B dot exponent. So what that would really do here is 21 x bar 500 would be attached as it is to the resulting polynomial. And when 21 x bar 500 is attached, the attach will also take care of incrementing avail. So avail is now going ahead. Now, so start B term is over. So which means I have to increment start B. So I have not disturbed start A in this case, but start B goes ahead. So start B equal to start B plus 1, and that's all that I have to do. So I give a break condition and I close the switch case. So automatically the while also close. Now how would it continue? So you're done with 21 x bar 500. So start B is less than or equal to finish B. Right? Now again when you start comparing, so which means 9x bar 2, 9x bar 2 with 500. So there is a case -1. So which means that doesn't have a resulting polynomial. But in this case, start B has already incremented over here, and start B has already reached finish B. And whenever it's reached finish B and it tries to go beyond finish B, that's not possible for us. So all these remaining terms, 9x bar 2, 2x bar 1 and 1x bar 1 has to be attached as it is. So in our example here, there are remaining terms in polynomial A, but there could be remaining terms in polynomial B in some other example. So which simply means continuing ahead, for any remaining terms either in polynomial A or any remaining terms in polynomial B, they have to be attached as it is in the resulting polynomial. So what we do here is, I give a for loop and I say do not give an initial condition from wherever start A currently is until start A is less than or equal to finish A. Right? So long as start A reaches finish A, you keep on incrementing start A. So start A plus plus is the post condition, but I'll call attach for all the remaining terms, attach as it is. So which means terms of start A dot coefficient. So start A dot coefficient is our first term and or first parameter, and similarly terms of start A dot exponent is our second term. Now similarly in this example, this for loop would work. right? And similarly, in any other random example, if there are remaining terms in polynomial B, so there is no initialization condition from wherever start B currently is, so long as it does not reach finish B, keep on incrementing start B. And before you increment, please attach the term. So call the same attach function, but with the parameters terms of start B dot coefficient, that will be your first parameter to attach, and the second parameter to attach is terms of start B dot exponent. And we know that every time attach will keep on incrementing avail. And anything else to be done here? No. So what would these two for loop do in our case? So start B is already equal to finish B, so which means this for loop is irrelevant in this example. But what about here? So start A is not equal to less than finish A. In this case, start A is still at the position 2. So all the remaining terms would be attached as it is to our array terms. So which really means 9x power 2, 2x power 1 and 1x power 0 have been attached to the same resulting polynomial, and every time avail has been incremented, and currently avail is in the next available position in the array, right? So that's what it really means. Now at the end of this, what was our expectation? We had to finally tell where is start D and where is finish D. Have we told where is start D? Yes, we have told start D was initially at the position avail. At the end, avail has been incremented to such a position where the next position is available. So now I can confidently say finish D is equals to avail but minus 1. Right, avail is the next available position, so the previous position is the last term of the polynomial, so finish D equal to avail minus 1. So with this particular function, we are able to compute the addition of two given polynomials. But to complete the definition of this function p-add, we need the definition of compare and also the definition of attach. Now, to complete the definition of our p-add function, we need the definition of compare. We also need the definition of attach. Now, herein we have two possibilities. Compare could either be a macro, which I have defined here, or compare could be a function. Right? So if it's a function, we know that we need the data types of the parameters, and whenever it's a function, there is a growth in the stack area of the main memory. So the activation record of compare gets built in during the call, and during the return it's popped out. Whereas in a macro, it's a pre-processing statement. You don't need to specify the data type of x and y. And it happens, the execution of the macro happens during the pre-processing only. The value of this compare macro is replaced in the occurrence of our code. So either of compare macro or a compare function could be used, but preferably a compare macro is better efficient because there is no growth in the stack memory area. So I say compare of x comma y. If x is, I use a ternary operator. If x is equals to y, the first condition, if it's true, then I say 0. 0 is the value. If x equals to 0, that's a case 0. Otherwise, I use another ternary operator. If x is less than y, then the value returned is minus 1. Otherwise, that means x is greater than y, so which means the value is 1. Okay. So if it's a function, I have an if, else, if and else condition. If x is y, then return 0. If x is greater than y, then that's a return 1. And else it is x is less than y, so return minus 1. Either of these two is okay to complete the definition of our p-add. Also, we need the support of the attach function. So the attach function is given here, and please observe the return type is void. It's void simply because avail is global, all and terms array is also global. So all that it does is attach a term into the terms array, terms is global and avail is also global. So the two parameters for attach are a coefficient value and the exponent value. Please observe that these two are parameters, they are not structure members. Now, if avail is greater than max minus 1, what is max? We have defined a constant max. Those are the maximum possible locations in this terms array. And if avail has gone beyond, if avail tries to go beyond max minus 1, that means we cannot attach anything else. So that's a condition telling the terms array is full. You cannot really attach anything else into this array. That's a failure exit condition. That's why I've given it as exit 1. If it's a success exit condition, we would give it as exit 0, it's a failure exit condition, that's why it is exit 1. Now I say otherwise it's success, so avail can go inside that. So terms of avail, so avail is the index position, terms of avail has two parts, dot coefficient and dot exponent. These are the structure members. So terms of avail dot coefficient equal to coefficient which is the parameter passed here, and similarly terms of avail dot expo equal to exponent which is passed as parameter. So this attach function has attached a new term into the terms array, and at the end I always told you that attach takes care of incrementing the index variable avail. Avail always points to the next available location, that's why it is avail plus plus. So in this video, you saw how to perform the sparse polynomial addition and how to write the code for the polynomial addition function. You also saw that to complete the code of sparse polynomial addition, we need to define the compare macro or function, also the function of attach. So in the next video, we'll try to analyze the time complexity of the sparse matrix transpose function which we have written earlier. And also we'll try to write a fast transpose of the sparse matrix function.